Yellowstone gets a TV show on this date. Welcome back to On This Date. Today's date is June 20th, 2023. It is the 171st day of the year. There are 194 days left in 2023. It is the 25th Tuesday of the 25th week and the 93rd day of spring. There is one day left until summer. Today is National American Eagle Day. Celebrate the nation's national symbol on National American Eagle Day. On June 20th, we set aside time to raise awareness about the bald eagle and to preserve the bird's natural habitat. The holiday is meant to educate others about the bird's importance and to explore ways that we can ensure that the eagle continues to thrive for decades to come. So it was always a rare treat to see a bald eagle. Here in Oregon, you might see one occasionally. Washington, maybe a little bit more, it seems like. You go up to Alaska, they're like pigeons. I was out in Homer, Alaska, and Soldotna, and they were everywhere. All right, let's see what else June 20th has given us. 1782, the U.S. Congress adopts the Great Seal of the United States. 1877, Alexander Graham Bell installs the world's first commercial telephone service in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1945, the United States Secretary of State approves the transfer of Wernher von Braun and his team of Nazi rocket scientists to the United States under Operation Paperclip. 1963, following the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Soviet Union and the United States signed an agreement to establish the so-called Red Telephone, a link between Washington, D.C. and Moscow. 1972, the Watergate scandal. An 18-and-a-half-minute gap appears in the tape recording of the conversation between U.S. President Richard Nixon and his advisors regarding the recent arrests of his operatives while breaking into the Watergate complex. HBO has a mini-series about this right now called The White House Plumbers, I think it's called. It's about the break-in. They call themselves the Plumbers. 1975, the film Jaws is released in the United States, becoming the highest-grossing film of that time and starting the trend of films known as summer blockbusters. Yes, this was the first summer blockbuster. The summer blockbuster, as it's known, is usually a film that breaks box office records every single time, it seems like. One of the amazing things about this is it's not always the film that people expected to be the summer blockbuster. The first one in 1975 was Jaws. Now, they had a few other ones like The Omen and Grease, things like that, but normally a blockbuster is an action-packed, high-dollar, big studio movie. And almost every single one of them are exactly that. I mean, here's the list of some of the blockbusters they've had. So all the Star Wars movies, they were the blockbuster of their year. Then there was Alien, Raiders of the Lost Ark. E.T. wasn't exactly fast-paced, the whole movie, but it was still a blockbuster movie. More Raiders of the Lost Ark, then you start getting into the Back to the Future movies, Top Gun. Beverly Hills Cop was the first one that was considered a comedy, followed by Roger Rabbit, which again was sort of a comedy and an animated film. Then you had Lethal Weapon, The Terminator, all fast action movies, Jurassic Park, more Star Wars, Mission Impossible 2, and then DreamWorks comes up with Shrek. This blew everyone out of the water. The blockbuster that year was supposed to be Pearl Harbor, and Pearl Harbor was horrible. It could have been a great movie, but they decided to focus too much on a love story and not enough on the actual thing of Pearl Harbor. There was this thing going on around 2000 where they would take something from the news and they would bill it as that, like the Black Dahlia was one of them, Pearl Harbor. There was a few other ones, but it was just a story that was based during the time of those events and really didn't include as much of the event as you thought it would be. And that's what killed Pearl Harbor. I mean, besides when the Japanese did it during World War II. But Shrek definitely brought in a different twist to the blockbuster, the summer blockbuster, because you started having things like Toy Story, Harry Potter, Finding Nemo, Shrek 2. Those summer blockbusters kind of shifted it so that they were great movies for everyone, not just, teenagers and above. I've watched Finding Nemo several times. I like that movie. My pig really likes it, honestly. She's got a little tablet in her room and she watches Finding Nemo every day. And when I say she watches it, when I put it on, she settles down and stares at the screen the whole time. If I put something else on, she won't watch it. She knows a good summer blockbuster when she sees it. Anyway, I've always been fascinated with the summer blockbuster and I always want to see what it's going to be. I always know the movies that are coming out and I always try and guess which one's going to blow the box office out of the water, which one's going to have all the buzz, which one is the summer blockbuster. But that whole rant started because on this date, 1975, Jaws showed up and ruined the beach for me for years. 1979, ABC News correspondent Bill Stewart is shot dead by soldiers in Nicaragua, and it was filmed. The murder was caught on tape and sparked an international outcry against the regime of Nicaragua at the time. I've seen the video. I'm not going to put it up here because it's kind of upsetting. 2003, the Wikimedia Foundation is founded in St. Petersburg, Florida. Happening now. So this is interesting. Sometimes we do this happening now. What's going on in the news right now? Well, they've lost a submersible that went down to see the Titanic. They have these companies, I think it's just one or two, that will actually take you down to the Titanic. And they've done this before. It's like a deep sea tourism thing. Well, they've lost one of the subs and now everyone's trying to find it. They lost contact with it yesterday on the 19th, maybe the 18th. Somewhere around there, they lost contact with it. Yeah, unless this thing floated up the top and is now floating out in sea, I don't think the people are still alive, but we'll find out, I'm sure. Actually, they might know by the time you're watching this. I'll give you updates through the week. Premiered on June 20th, 2018, Yellowstone. This is a pretty good series. It stars Kevin Costner, Ian Bohen, Kelly Rohrbach, Josh Holloway, and a whole bunch of other people. Luke Grimes is in here. It's a pretty good show. It's about a family that lives in Montana, and they have this big ranch, and all this to-do goes on about it. Now, interesting thing about this, they had a prequel miniseries, two of them actually. One was the family leaving from the East Coast on a wagon train, going to Oregon, but they decide to settle in Montana, and it followed the family that whole trip. And then the next series was the same family in Montana in like the 1930s. They're supposed to have another one of the family like in the 1950s. That's what I heard. I don't know the whole story on that one. But Yellowstone is supposed to be the family currently. It's very interesting the way they set it up. If you ever get a chance, definitely watch it. It's worth it. Born on June 20th, 1952, John Goodman. Everybody knows John Goodman. He's a large-as-life actor who played husband on the TV show Roseanne from 1988 to 1997. He's also been in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, The Big Lebowski, so many different movies. Died on June 20th, 1938, Fred Noonan. Though he is declared dead on June 20th, 1938, he was last seen on July 2nd, 1937 in New Guinea as part of a trip around the world alongside Amelia Earhart. Yes, he was the navigator for Amelia Earhart that disappeared with her. Everyone always forgets there was someone else on the plane. I think I brought this up when Amelia Earhart's birthday came up, but I watched the movie, which was pretty good. The movie starred Hilary Swank, Richard Gere, Ewan McGregor, a bunch of other people. And it was a really good movie, except for a couple things. One, out of nowhere, they turned it into they got drunk the night before they left, or at least the navigator did, and he put the hit on the married Amelia Earhart, and it just kind of made it kind of creepy, where there's no proof that that happened. That was just all made up, and it made this guy look bad, in my opinion. I also didn't like the way the movie ended, because we don't know what happened, but even though it's a fantasy movie, and it's kind of based on a true story, they could have given their theory on it and played it into the movie. Instead, the movie ends with them just going out to the, open ocean in their plane and making radio calls, trying to find the Navy that was supposed to meet him. Anyway, so Fred died with Amelia Earhart wherever she died. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.